Hey, where are you? Don't worry, it's not on. Lower our taxes. Call it even. Say something nice instead of being smart all the time.
Lower our taxes, we'll call it even. Another open microphone, Vice President Biden over the weekend is in Wisconsin at a custard shop, not an ice cream shop. The VP was there for a fundraiser with Russ Feingold. The manager telling the VP that his dessert will be on the house if he lowers taxes on small businesses. A bit later, the two of them had words, and the manager says that Mr. Biden later whispered he was just joking about all that. But where are we in the country when it comes to jobs and employment, our economic situation? David Rehr, business manager and politics professor at George Washington University out there in Los Angeles. How you doing, David? Good morning to you.
I'm doing great. I'm doing great.
Here, you want some custard?
I do, as a matter of fact. The one thing the vice president should have said to the small business owner was, you know what? We know you create 90% of the jobs in America, and we're going to do everything we can to help you create more.
That's small business. There's no possibility, Joe Biden said, to restore 8 million jobs lost. Now, is he right or is he wrong or is he just realistic, David?
Well, I think he has to be realistic, but as the second most important person in America, he has to be inspiring. People are making investments. The economy's coming back. We've had 3% growth for the last 3 months. We've actually created 500,000 private sector jobs. The vice president shouldn't tell people, well, you know, we should all be happy with 13 million unemployed Americans and the economy's not going to be strong.
Well, wasn't it Jimmy Carter who talked about the American melees in the late 1970s, and then Ronald Reagan came around and said it's morning in America, time to believe again.
Right, and America is an optimistic country. I mean, 90% of jobs are created by entrepreneurs who make risks every day with their future, and we need the vice president to hear that message rather than, well, things are bad, it's not our fault, and it's just that's the way it's going to be.
Oh, David, I want you to look on the chart behind me here. This is gives you a snapshot of where the jobs are in America today. You go back to December of 2007, behind me here, we're right about 7 million unemployed, the real number, December of 07. Then we started going up. Here we are in September of 08. Here we are with the stimulus plan right around February of 09. The chart goes from 13.5 million all the way up to 15 million where we are today in June of 2010. You know what happened in Canada over the weekend. All right, these European leaders and the Canadians are saying we're not going to continue to spend money, we're going to slash, and they're going to raise taxes. Now, how much are we willing to absorb when it comes to A, raising taxes, and B, trying to get Congress when you know history shows and tells you that cutting spending has been a very difficult thing for Washington to pull off? What happens?
Well, that's true, Bill. Cutting taxes would be an absolute mistake for this economy. We're still fragile. Housing is flat. Consumer product purchase is anemic. What we need to have is good private sector stimulus, and that is cutting taxes for people, not raising taxes on the productive class of America.
So what about that?
Our government,
what about that custard shop there in Wisconsin? I mean, what would he get out of a tax cut that would keep him alive, business-wise, or what would he get that would encourage him to hire more people?
Well, if he got a tax cut, he probably could buy more equipment to create more custard. He probably could hire more people to sell more custard. He could do more marketing and advertising to get more people to come to the custard shop, all which have positive results for the economy in Wisconsin and across the country.
Well, now, what's the possibility he gets that over the next 6 months, 12 months, a year and a half?
Well, yeah, unfortunately, he's getting a $700 billion tax increase from this administration. And then in January 2011, the Bush tax cut expired, which disproportionately hurt small businesses because most of them file their income tax with the 1040, and personal income tax rates are going to go up.
Others would argue the deficit is too high. There's no way to make up this deficit at $13 trillion unless you change something. And the order to generate the revenues for the government, guys like that custard shop owner are going to have to pay more. What would you say to that, David?
Well, I would say to that fundamental to what Vice President Biden said is that Washington needs to serve rather than take advantage of the private sector. Washington needs to say, we're going to cut spending first. We're going to show that we're going to put this economy back on track rather than, hey, guys, we really need more money from you. And, well, you're producing all the jobs and employing all the people in America.
I found it fascinating over the weekend just to see where the opinions diverged between the European leaders, the Canadian leader, and where this whole thing is headed. So, David, thank you. I know you're on it out there in L.A. We'll talk again, okay?
Thank you.
You got it.
Okay,
7
thank
minutes before the hour.